Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Dream Big podcast. This is a special episode, first of its kind. We're doing a bridge episode from episode 2 into episode 3. My name is Christopher Wallace. I'm a mentor with the Leap to College Foundation, and I would like to introduce the panelists who are going to speak with us tonight, starting with Lisa Rowe.
Good evening. I'm so happy to be here. I am the Chief Executive Officer for Leap to College Foundation, and thank you for having me tonight.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Owen. I've been a part of the Leap Foundation for 3 years, and I'm a producer on the show.
Hey everybody, my name is Jalen, and I've been a 4-year scholar with the Leap to College organization.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena. I am a college scholar in Leap to College Foundation. I've been here since the beginning.
And thank you once again, everyone, for coming out. And to enjoy our previous episodes, you can find the Dream Big podcast wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, that's where we will be. So the purpose of today's bridging episode, we want to talk about episode 2, and we want to move into episode 3. So Owen, you were the host of episode 2. Talk to us about what the theme was, who was on there, and what did we hope to accomplish with our discussion?
Yeah, certainly. So the theme for last episode was teaching a wide variety of Black history, not just in the month of February. And I think that what I was trying to achieve in that podcast was get the word out that there's a lot more to Black history. And it's not that we're tired of learning about Black history, like the Black history that we've been learning in school, but just that we want more and that we thirst for more knowledge on our history.
And I can appreciate that because I think the foundation of what is the seed that's planted in our classrooms that the teachers are doing, I can appreciate the fact that young people are thirsty. They're hungry for more. They're hungry for more information. And I want to stress that when we get to a point where we're not feeling we're learning enough, it's not enough information, and we're really wanting to celebrate our culture, I would encourage, as what you guys have done and continue to do, is to use your voice and to make these changes because it's important. Our culture is important. There's more to the African American experience than the negative stories, than the stereotypes, than what's going on in the news. And it is important to emphasize that our story should be told. And it's not just told in February. It's not just something that happens as a little blurb in our history or in social studies or in museums, but that it's embedded, that it's the fabric of our culture in American history. So it's important that this conversation keeps happening. I'm very proud that that conversation happened during that podcast. But I do want to emphasize that without the cultural connection of what happened with Dr. King and what happened with Malcolm X and the history of slavery, it brings us to more of again, that thirst and hunger of wanting more and knowing what these contributors have done in our history, but to really bridge it to something, that we need to be learning more. And I would encourage young people to read books, to read and understand more, to look at documentaries, to talk to family members, and just to get a broader understanding of beyond the books that are in the classrooms, but just to be thirsty for more. And I can appreciate the conversation that happened, but I just want to emphasize that, yes, it is important for us to understand the lives of the people that are taught in the classrooms, but it should also help us to plant a greater seed to learn more. And we have to do that as adults, and as young people, you guys are really forcing us to do that. So I'm glad that that conversation happened, but I also want to emphasize that it's important that what we do learn is important, but we take that information and grow even more.
Well, let's talk about and thank you for sharing that, Owen and Lisa. I want to put this to the room. I think there is what we came to in that discussion, at least a conclusion that I felt that we came to is that there is an internal responsibility for our people to indulge in Black history, to learn Black history, to share Black history. And there also is an important, if not more important, an external part of where we are depending on um, the efficacy of our other communities, white communities, Asian communities, Latino communities, et cetera, to also engage with this history. And so I think one of the conclusions that we came to, and we hope that it didn't, make the point that we're tired of figures like Malcolm X, or we're tired of figures like Rosa Parks, we're tired of figures like Dr. King. But I feel from an external measure, when people learn about these figures, historical figures, these leaders in their communities, these pioneers, when they learn about them, that's where the work stops. They feel like, okay, they're wiping their hands of it, they've cleaned up, they're done. And so just to speak on that, Jalen and Elena, if you can come in and chime in a little bit on that point, juxtaposing against Lisa's point as well. How can we balance that? How is there a balance between the internal of making sure that these figures' names are still sung to the heavens, and then also adding that external incentive for other communities as well to go beyond the Black history that they may already know or are familiar with?
Well, I think there can definitely be a balance between the two. Even in the schools, it's only taught mostly about MLK, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and a few others. However, I think it's more so forced from an early age because of that, that the families of said Black students have to teach them about many other historical figures in different areas of life, in entertainment, sports, even sports. We learn about Jackie Robinson. He broke the color barrier. I'm a baseball player, but I never got to learn about Leroy Satchel Paige or Cool Papa Bell. That just didn't happen. Um, but thankfully, I had people around me that were able to expose me to that other side that were not learned about. As I said last episode, it's a censorship that's always been placed on our greatness, really. So I feel like there can definitely be a balance, but that we have to venture out for that balance ourselves. And as Miss Lisa said, the young people are forcing that now. We are forcing that now because it's just been so, shamed and looked down upon for so long that now we're like, look, there's more to our history than what's taught in the books. There's way more. Even before we came to America, we were kings and queens. So I think there's definitely a balance between the two.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that statement. And I feel that there should be a way where even subjects can kind of intersect a little bit. You can still have an English course or a history course or even a sociology course, and still all that can come together. You can learn more about that particular subject. I remember in high school, we read some books that may have not been introduced. I mean, yes, we did read a book, the autobiography about Frederick Douglass, but definitely it was a lot more than what I imagined him it would be. We also read A Raisin in the Sun, and that was a really interesting book. I didn't see the movie before, like the original movie before I read the book. So that was really interesting to read that book. And then I also remember reading a few books about the first like a first person encounter about the Little Rock Nine. And it was basically about one of the girls who was a part of that group, and basically her own interpretation, her own experience with that. I thought that was really interesting to see. And I remember, I think Mr. McDuffie was talking about these green book sites where the uh, there are many Black people that were staying at these hotels and going to these restaurants that weren't allowed to go to, because of the segregation and everything. I think it's really important to even just go and venture out to different museums in the area and just see what is out there. And especially in Maryland, there's a lot of different museums you can go to. Even the Reginald F. Lewis Museum in Baltimore. I remember we went there with my family and we learned about was it Elizabeth Catlett? Was that who it was? Yeah, and she was a female artist, or even just Ramar Bearden. The Ramir Bearden, sorry. these painters and great artists that people might not know about. And just explore yourself in different parts, in the arts, in literature, because all of it can come together. I think you just have to talk to your teachers and talk to your parents, because they definitely have a wide range of knowledge. And just having that conversation can definitely spark interest. Oh, we should do this. We should do this. And people will be more interested and wanting to know more.
I believe that self-advocacy pushes this as well. The self-advocacy, it does start at home. The parents, our ancestors, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles can help broaden that conversation and expand it within our own communities. I think, in light of the fact that we're in the midst of this pandemic, it makes it very hard for us to reach out to our neighbors, but there's so many people that are what we call seasoned saints, those seasoned people who are in our communities where we can have these conversations and ask them. They are part of current history. They're a part of what's happening now. You guys are creating the history. And this is important. This conversation is important. And I want to say that I commend the desire to even want to have the conversation that Black history is beyond February. This is a continuum. This is a conversation that should keep going because you guys are going to keep it going, keep it alive, and even beyond that. But I like the fact that you guys stress, like you said, Jalen, having conversations with your family and talking with people in the sports industry, and Elena, talking with teachers and your family and going to museums and reading books is so very, very crucial. And for Owen to even have the forethought of saying, I want to have this conversation. Let's make it known that we are right now leaders. I say that a lot, but you guys are. Our young people are our right now leaders. And I'm very proud of the fact that we need to learn more and we have to demand more. And I think that's I know, in fact, it's really good that this is happening. So I'm glad that this is something, and again, we don't want to have these phobias, xenophobias, these different things of these limited amount of information can cause us to think it's only certain things that have happened. And this is going to predict that we can't go any further than what we see. We're always going to be in bondage. We're always going to be, held back. And we will do that if we don't continue to know our history, if we don't continue to hunger for more and to demand more and to learn more. So this is a very good conversation. Keep it happening. Keep that conversation and talking about it so you can learn more and continue to move our culture forward.
Well, that is most certainly the plan, especially with this podcast. Again, Dream Big Podcast. You can find us at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can look. And Owen's episode, The Big Truth About Black History, is available. So definitely check that out when you get the opportunity. I want to throw it to Jalen now. Jalen, I want you to introduce the episode that you're going to be hosting. It's going to be our next episode. I want you to speak a little bit on that. And the rest of us can provide at least one thing that we're excited to learn about or excited to ask questions about with Jalen's topic. So Jalen, go ahead and bring us into that.
Yeah, definitely. The next episode 3, it'll be surrounded around the path to financial success, which, you know, it's a very broad topic. However, there will be bits and pieces in there, do's and don'ts, of course, from very qualified, very successful people. We're looking to have some good guests on board, and I honestly can't wait because I know if you're a student watching this in school, they don't really teach you anything. You know, you don't know how to file taxes, you don't know how to make a budget, but we will be exploring every bit, every piece, every nook and cranny of financial success. And I can't wait, really.
Well, one thing I'm excited to learn about is how they plan on teaching financial literacy in school in the future. I just find it funny how like the whole world revolves around money, and we sit in whatever class I'm sitting in, just learning about anything but money and how to be financially literate in the future.
I've been hearing a lot of conversation of young people investing. I mean, these young people are telling me that I'm having conversations with, they're making money. Um, I'm talking about sixth graders, seventh graders, high school students. And they said they just heard it because someone in their family they invest. And they are just thinking like, if I have $5, I can make this $5 to $100. And these are the young minds. I'm very excited about this conversation, Jalen, because I just wish when I was your age that this was it was almost like a taboo. Don't talk about money, don't say anything about money. We don't have it. Get out of here. And it just brings back some really memories of, going into the supermarket where my parents don't touch anything. We don't have any money. Leave it alone. So I think it's great that this conversation is happening with young people, that is not a taboo. Money is something it's needed. It's a necessity.
Yeah, I think it's like interesting that you brought up investing. Investing has become a serious thing now. And I grew up kind of like you, south side of Chicago. It was
Yeah.
always don't touch that, don't talk about money. People don't need to know about how much you have.
Right,
Um,
right.
However, it's become almost a trend, which is slightly scary, but we'll dive into that later on in the next episode. But
Great.
yeah, it's great.
I'm excited about this. I mean, the voices of our young people. This is what's happening. Thank you. Thank you for this.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to as far as Jalen's episode is concerned. I echo the same sentiments as well, that this is a position that I wish I was in when I was in middle school or when I was in high school, because that would have been a better place for my money other than Jordans or clothes or food
Right.
or stuff like that, or at least that's the
Now you can invest in Jordans, right? In
right now.
Nike,
Now you can
right?
invest in Jordans, you can invest in
Right.
Nikes, you can invest at the mall, the people who own the mall, and
Yes.
I think I'm very excited to learn more and talk about how uh, easily that you can do all of these things. When I was a youngster, a teenager, and I saw movies or I saw TV shows that dealt with finances or dealt with investing, it felt like something that only happened on Wall Street. It felt like something that only the people with the briefcases and the suits could do. That you think it's only something that you have to have a law degree to do. You have to have a finance degree to do. And I think the beautiful thing, especially about today, is that you can do this from your phone. You can do this from your computer. There are tons of communities that I'm involved in, both here in the DMV area, in the Long Island area where I'm from, where people come together and share information and share tips and share insights, share experiences from both their victories and their mistakes, so that you can learn from people's strategies, and it's great. And we can take away that stigma of no, we don't have it. Don't talk about money. We can take away that stigma and we can learn what we can do. Elena, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, definitely with the investing, that's really important. And also, I think for me personally, just knowing how to file taxes. I personally think that's, I want to learn more about that. That can be kind of confusing, especially when you first start out doing that. And also the difference between a credit and a debit and how to make sure you have enough credit and then make sure that you're keeping on time with tracking your credit. That's important. I just started having a credit card, so that's something to learn. And yes, that's something I'm looking forward for that too.
When is this happening? What's the date? I want to hear it now.
Yeah. So
now?
yes, I want to get to it too. I want to get to
Okay.
it too. So
Okay.
this episode will be coming out on March 26th, 2021. So we will be recording that soon. So we're going to get some special guests on there. We're going to make sure our information is right, especially because of the group that we're talking to. We want to make sure we get the best and the accurate information that we can. And hopefully we change some lives. Hopefully we change the trajectory of, where somebody has a relationship with money or knowing different things that they could do with money. And it'll be really exciting. So March 26th, definitely check that out. Once again, you can listen to the Dream Big podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. We are there. We are excited to see you on March 26th. And we are excited for you to check out our past episodes as well. And we will see you next time.
Oh, don't forget our YouTube channel.
Oh, yes. Let's plug the YouTube channel.
Yes, Kaylin,
yeah. Shout out to Kaylin, our other producer as well.
Yes.
Visual guy. So we want to
L2C Dream Big.
What's that again? Plug that one more time.
It's L2C Dream Big. I believe that. Hold on. This is
yes.
The YouTube hold channel.
On. And while Elena is getting that information, I know Owen has our information on our website.
Oh, yes.
Do you mind sharing that, Owen?
Yeah, you can go to www.leaptocollege.com to get more information on the Leap to College Foundation.
We're going to be uploading those YouTube, premiering it there as well. So they'll have that. I'm sorry, Elena, what was that?
Oh, yeah, it's L2C Dream Big and then B.I.G.
That's us on YouTube. So check out YouTube, check out our website, check out our podcast. We are all over the internet.
Instagram, yes. Facebook,
Twitter. We're there. So I think that's a good plug there, and we can go ahead and close on that note. I'm really excited for what we talked about. Really excited for what we're going to talk about in the future. And I'm Christopher Wallace, your host, and we're going to sign off. Continue to dream big.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.